The match between both teams commences. The game will occur in a mini-field with an area of 30 by 40 meters. In front of the nets, blue lock men are seen guarding it. For this match, Isagi, Bachira, and Nagi are team white. Similarly, their blue lock man is white to represent their team. After a few seconds, the game officially starts. Isagi has the ball and passes it to Bachira. Because of this, Airyu assigns Tokimitsu to guard Bachira. To get past Tokimitsu, Bachira did a swift scissors kick and successfully got past Tokimitsu. After freeing himself from Tokimitsu, Bachira runs toward Rin and challenges him. However, Rin remains indifferent. Instead of going against Rin, Bachira chose to pass to Nagi. Nagi runs forward to receive the pass. However, Airyu sees this and tries to steal the ball from Team White. As both players try to prevent one another from stealing the ball, they notice that the pass is short. Suddenly, Nagi realizes that the pass was actually meant for Isagi, not him. Suddenly, Isagi appears in the corner running towards the goal. Isagi, now in front of the ball and goal, attempts to score with a direct shoot. As Isagi's shoot was nearing the net, the blue lockman failed to stop it, thus resulting in Team White's first score. The score is now 1-0, with Team White in the lead. After the goal, Team White huddles up and rejoices together. Both Nagi and Bachira commend Isagi's growth since the second selection. Due to this, Isagi felt ecstatic and confident. He also described in his head that Team White was a seriously strong team. Meanwhile, the opponent team reacted differently. Tokimitsu is panicking, while Airyu compliments Isagi's goal as stylish. Nonetheless, Rin still remains unconcerned. Rin then describes their skills as lukewarm. Rin then states that, to some of the players currently present, football is just a sport. Rin corrects them, saying that football is a battlefield. After Rin's declaration, he tilts his body and attempts a score. Although he was far from the goal, the ball's spin compensated for it. No one saw it coming. Although Nagi and Bachira wanted to stop the ball, their feet were glued to the floor. They could only watch the ball go past them. Similarly, the blue lockman also failed to stop the ball. Thus the scores are now 1-1. After watching this, Isagi is in awe. Rin was able to pull off a score from attacking in the kickoff. Nagi then asks Bachira if scoring at that location was allowed. Bachira answers yes, however noting that its rate of succeeding was not high. On the other hand, both Tokimitsu and Airyu were also shocked. However, Rin reminds everyone that he could not care less about his teammates or opponents. May they be a friend or foe. To Rin, they are all just lukewarm mobs that will serve as his stepping stone towards his goal. Rin then states that they should end this game already as it has become a waste of time. Because of Rin's arrogant remarks, Isagi confronted him. Isagi tells Rin that he too is betting his life here. Isagi joined Blue Lock for the sake of his goals like Rin. After hearing Isagi's words, Rin tells him that goals were not lukewarm and serene subjects. To elaborate, Rin notes that losing in soccer is the same as losing one's reason to exist. By losing a game, the player has died. Rin concludes that, to him, football is a death match. All 5 players were shocked after hearing Rin's remarks. Nonetheless, Isagi lets go of his momentary shock and chooses to bask in his ego. Isagi challenges Rin, telling him that the lukewarm match has now ended and turned into a deadly battlefield. They continue playing and Isagi's team attacks. Bachira again passes to Nagi, but this time Airyu comes in front of him and jumps high, reaching the ball before Nagi. The ball goes to Tokimitsu and Airyu requests it. Tokimitsu attempts to pass him, but Bachira intervenes and manages to redirect it towards Isagi. Isagi tries to protect the ball and not lose it as it may be fatal, but being tall with long legs, Airyu manages to kick it from behind Isagi and score. Isagi is surprised at his jump and reach. Team White starts again with the ball, and as Airyu covers Nagi, Bachira decides to play alone and goes against Tokimitsu. Tokimitsu starts to worry that if he loses he will be kicked. He continues to get himself more negative and eventually rushes at Bachira, who passes him. Worried, Tokimitsu quickly catches up and goes in front of Bachira, who again passes him, but Tokimitsu again catches up to him and takes the ball. Worried, Tokimitsu starts repeating that he needs to score a goal. Isagi faces him, but as he can't figure out how to stop him, Isagi decides to foul him. He grabs Tokimitsu by the shoulder. However, Tokimitsu is unaffected and passes, leaving Isagi on the ground and being shocked at how strong Tokimitsu is. Tokimitsu then faces the blue lock man and easily scores, giving his team 3-1 lead. Isagi realizes that Itoshi isn't the only crazy one. The three of them just met and have zero teamwork and play separately using their individual skills. On the other hand, Isagi's team had played together and understand each other, yet there is such a gap between them. Isagi then realizes they will likely lose. Nagi is surprised that there are other amazing players and finds football even more interesting. He thanks Isagi, stating he can see things this way thanks to him and promises him to make things more interesting. Nagi then proposes a strategy and Bachira and Isagi agree with it. Isagi is surprised that Nagi is proposing ideas. Nagi reveals it's his first time proposing ideas. He doesn't want to lose and feel defeated ever again. The game continues. Isagi notes that Nagi can't move freely due to Airyu and Bachira's dribbling is disabled by Tokimitsu. If they play against them they will lose. So Team White intends to stay close to each other in a 15-meter triangle. They will slowly chip away at them with Nagi and Isagi not holding the ball, but passing it the moment they get it. However, with Airyu on Nagi, he can't take the finishing shot and that will be Isagi's job. Isagi finds a route and a place where he can take the shot and heads to take position and wait for the pass. However, Itoshi arrives there too, noting that he can see what he sees too. Since Isagi is blocked, Bachira decides to pass to Nagi, but gives him a super spinning ball. Seeing that, Nagi realizes that Bachira is telling him to not stop the ball. Nagi then touches it, slightly redirecting it. He then turns and runs past Airyu, reaching the ball and scoring. Isagi congratulates them and Nagi notes that he didn't know such passes exist. He explains that Mike's passes are always, do what you want. However, Bachira's pass felt like it was shoving an idea in his brain. Isagi gets excited again, starting to believe in their win. Itoshi states they didn't learn their lesson and are chatting on the battlefield. He takes another shot from the kickoff. However, Isagi felt it and managed to reach the goal and block the shot with his head. Isagi states he can see what Itoshi sees and he is also half-baked. Having learned their styles, Isagi intends to control the field with his eyes. Itoshi goes to take the corner kick. Bachira protects Tokimitsu, while Nagi protects Airyu. Isagi decides to stay in front of the goalkeeper and be able to react to anything. Itoshi kicks the ball and Isagi wonders if it's a pass to Airyu. By the time he figures it's a vertical spin direct shot, Itoshi scores for 4-2. Isagi wonders if he misread the situation, but knows that if he went to protect the post, his position would be open for them to attack. Team White continue with their triangle attack. Isagi notes that it will be hard to reproduce the chemical reacting between Nagi and Bachira to score again, and he needs to cause a new chemical reaction. As they keep passing to each other, Itoshi wonders for how long they intend to do it, since they are supposed to be strikers. Annoyed, Isagi feels Itoshi is underestimating him and by covering him that tightly, he leaves big open space behind him. Isagi then calls Bachira for a pass and Bachira kicks the ball. As Isagi runs to the open space, Itoshi runs next to him, wondering if he spot a good space. He tells Isagi to go read a book on how human eyes work and learn something. Isagi is surprised to see Itoshi next to him as he passed him and guesses that he must somehow read his vision. Itoshi then goes in front of Isagi and takes the ball. Isagi wonders how he managed to predict his move that fast. Isagi then realizes that he probably didn't smell a goal, but was led to believe he did and make him move into that position. That would mean that Isagi wasn't controlling the field, but Itoshi was. Itoshi then passes Nagi and Bachira and scores, ending the game. The announce then states Team Red wins over Team White with 5-2. Airyu wonders who they should take. Itoshi states it doesn't matter. Tokimitsu makes a suggestion and Airyu notes he also wanted him. Airyu then calls Bachira to come. Tokimitsu states that Bachira's passes are amazing and Team Red are only good at individual skills. But with Bachira they will become stronger. Bachira is disappointed as he wanted to stay with Isagi's team until the end, but he needs to obey the rules. However, he tells Isagi that he won't be waiting for him, and if he wants him, he should come and get him. Isagi and Nagi find themselves in the second stage room, waiting for other two-man teams to arrive. They take a break in the break room, but Isagi insists that there's no time for rest, as they'll be eliminated if they lose the next game. Nagi is more optimistic, believing that they'll win now that their opponent is no longer too strong. Isagi, however, feels that he's different from Nagi and couldn't do much against them. Nagi reminds him that he did score a goal, but Isagi attributes it to their team play. Without their team play, Isagi feels he has no weapons to fight with and can't trigger a chemical reaction like Nagi and Bachira can. Isagi is worried that if they lose the next game, Nagi will be chosen while no one will choose him. Nagi becomes angry and grabs Isagi by the hair, asking him what he's supposed to do in this situation. Nagi joined Isagi because he believed Isagi would make him stronger and can't handle Isagi's negative attitude. Isagi needs to do better, as Ryo wouldn't whine like this. This angers Isagi, who tells Nagi to stop comparing him to Ryo and to team up with Ryo if he likes him so much. Nagi explains that he compares him to Ryo because he's never played with anyone else. Isagi then wonders if Nagi can't do anything without Ryo, but Nagi states the same for Isagi, who can't do anything without Bachira. Isagi is feeling defeated after their previous game, but he is determined to prove that he can excel even without his teammate Bachira. Nagi suggests that perhaps this is the purpose of the current selection process. He explains that in the past, a single player could turn a losing situation into a win by triggering a chain reaction with the rest of the team. However, the second selection stage is played on smaller fields with fewer players, where individual skills hold more weight. Nagi believes that they are being tested on their personal abilities. Isagi realizes that this is why their team play failed and that the key to advancing in the selection is winning one-on-one battles. Nagi asks Isagi how he can overcome his frustration, and Isagi responds that the only way to do so is by winning. As Baro entered the room, Isagi couldn't help but feel a sense of determination. He knew that in order to survive the next round, he would have to defeat Baro. Baro, who was known for being the strongest player, looked around the room with a sense of skepticism. Nagi, who was also present in the room, couldn't believe that Baro was there and questioned his strength after losing his previous match. Baro, not one to back down from a challenge, retorted by calling Nagi an amateur who only knew how to control the ball. Nagi, determined to prove Baro wrong, stated that he would defeat Baro and make him his servant. Isagi, unsure of his own abilities, tried to calm Nagi down. Naruhaya, another player, entered the room and reminded them that they had to wait 24 hours before choosing their next match. Isagi was surprised to see Naruhaya teaming up with Baro, and Naruhaya confirmed that their third player was Hajime Nishioka. Baro had scored 4 goals, but the other team had scored 5, resulting in their loss. The team had decided not to take Baro as they found him to be too selfish and it would have upset the balance of the team. They chose Nishioka instead, leaving Naruhaya with Baro. Baro, frustrated with the loss, blamed Naruhaya and Nishioka for being useless. Naruhaya tried to calm Baro down, reminding him that they had 24 hours and they didn't have to choose Isagi's team. Baro, determined to crush their opponents, stated that he would not be hiding and would defeat them if given the chance. Isagi and Nagi retreat to a private room to rest and strategize. Nagi raises the question of why Isagi hadn't expressed interest in playing against Baro and suggests that they should recruit him as a teammate. Isagi acknowledges this but points out that their skill level doesn't match up with Baro's. He reflects on their previous game, realizing that their strengths on the field only come into play when they receive passes. To truly excel, they need someone who understands their abilities and can pass the ball to them effectively, like Bachira or Mikage. Without passes, they are unable to utilize their unique weapons in a one-on-one situation and struggle to win. Nagi nods off, exhausted, while Isagi continues to ponder the necessary individual skills for success in a one-on-one match. Isagi and Nagi head to the cafeteria the next day, but Nagi is disappointed with the limited options available for breakfast. Isagi, however, is used to this and suggests they focus on what teams they want to play against next. Nagi asks for Isagi's thoughts on the matter, and Isagi explains that if they play against a weaker team, they will likely win, but they will also have to add a weaker player to their team, which won't help them in the next stage. Isagi fears that if they return to this stage again, they may lose Nagi. He believes it's better to play against stronger teams in order to acquire a stronger player, but this increases their chances of losing. Nagi agrees, understanding that everyone else is likely thinking the same way. Isagi is training with Blue Lock Man, honing his skills and pushing himself to improve. He realizes that to compete against other skilled players who excel at one-on-one play, he needs to develop similar abilities. He wonders if facing someone like Baro again might give him some insight. Naruhaya enters the training room and sees Isagi, questioning if he has chosen a team yet. Isagi explains that they don't want to take on a weak teammate, but Naruhaya points out that it is a difficult decision as losing means being eliminated. Naruhaya has been thinking about it, and he believes they need to take risks. He himself wants Nagi and not Isagi, and if they truly want to become the best strikers in the world, they cannot play it safe and need to recruit someone strong. Naruhaya challenges Isagi to a match and puts their dreams on the line. Isagi accepts, eager for the opportunity to play against him. Isagi and Nagi are honing their skills in a one-on-one training session, but Nagi is easily able to stop Isagi's moves. Isagi expresses his concern about not knowing how to defeat Baro's unique playing style and weapon, but Nagi tells him that they can't mimic it in training. The only way to truly understand it is to play against him and figure it out during the game. Both players agree that they need to find individual strengths that are strong enough to defeat Baro, with Nagi starting to focus on covering Baro's moves. On the other hand, Baro and Naruhaya are also training together, but Baro declares that today's training is enough and warns Naruhaya not to get in his way during the next match, as he believes Naruhaya is too weak to be of any help. The game begins and the tension is high. Nagi jokingly taunts Baro, asking if he practiced kneeling for him, but Baro confidently declares that he will crush Nagi and make him his servant. Isagi turns to Naruhaya and states that he is serious and that they shouldn't hold back. The game starts with Isagi and Nagi in possession of the ball. Nagi faces off against Baro, but the experienced player easily takes the ball from Nagi's dribbling. Isagi watches Naruhaya's movements, but decides to stay put and wait for Baro to come within his striking distance. However, Baro surprises Isagi by taking a shot from a much farther distance and scores. This causes Isagi to realize that Baro is also evolving and adapting his skills. Isagi and Nagi take to the field for their game, with Isagi starting with the ball. He goes up against Naruhaya, knowing that if he can beat him, they have a chance against the rest of the team. But despite his efforts, Isagi struggles to pass Naruhaya, who is persistent in his defense. He contemplates passing to Nagi, but worries that his pass may not be precise enough and could give Baro the opportunity to intercept it. However, Nagi urges him to make the pass anyway. Isagi passes to the side and Nagi moves towards the ball. Baro chases after him, scoffing at the poor pass. But Nagi has a plan. He recalls instinctively doing similar moves in previous games, and now it all starts to make sense to him. He comes up with a new formula that doesn't rely on a good pass, as he can breathe life into the ball with his first touch. With his first touch, Nagi slightly redirects the ball, causing Baro to chase after it. But Nagi kicks it again, redirecting it one more time and passing Baro. He takes the shot and scores. Isagi is amazed at how quickly Nagi is evolving and mastering his formula for winning one-on-one in just one play. The game is in full swing as Baro starts with the ball. Nagi strategizes with Isagi and suggests that they should cover Baro closely, as they know he is a strong player and unlikely to pass. Isagi is worried about Naruhaya, but Nagi assures him that they can handle it. The team manages to take the ball from Baro's possession. Isagi notices that Nagi has been utilizing his back control to create unpredictable first touches and take advantage of tight pressing defenders. He also sees that Naruhaya is keeping his distance, which gives Nagi the chance to play freely without pressure from a defender. This allows Isagi to give straightforward passes to Nagi, such as a shot, which he can easily control and score with. Isagi passes the ball and Nagi successfully stops it with his control, takes the shot and scores, leaving Naruhaya struggling to catch up. The game is heating up as tensions rise between the players. Baro, determined to prove his dominance, takes a shot from the midfield, but Isagi is able to anticipate the move and the goalkeeper saves it. However, Naruhaya manages to grab the loose ball before Isagi and passes it to Baro, who scores, tying the game at 2-2. Isagi realizes that the key to winning the game rests on his and Naruhaya's shoulders. As he faces off against Naruhaya, Isagi recalls that his former teammate had always wanted to beat him and take Nagi. Naruhaya confirms this, noting that he and Isagi are just average players who survive because of others. Isagi, feeling annoyed, passes the ball to Nagi, but Naruhaya intercepts it and the ball ends up in Baro's possession. Baro charges towards the goal, but Isagi is fully focused on stopping him. However, to his surprise, Baro passes the ball to Naruhaya instead. Baro then asks Naruhaya to pass it back to him, but Naruhaya refuses, stating that he wants to catch up to the geniuses on the field. Isagi remembers that Naruhaya's weapon is getting behind the defense and he chases after him, but is unable to stop him. As Naruhaya takes the shot, Isagi realizes that he can't even beat Naruhaya.